You've tuned in to Just Rock with Melody, and today we are talking scamming and scheming in Ghana. Let's get into this conversation right now. Just recently, the FBI came to Ghana and picked up a man by the name of Coffee Boat, who was said to have been involved in a huge love scheme happening in the States. So apparently, he was love bombing women, getting a whole lot of money as a result of it, and of course, giving them no love in return, making a lot of broken promises that he was never going to keep. The FBI got wind of what was happening. They launched an investigation and lo and behold, found that he was the culprit of this whole love scheme. And just recently, they came to Ghana and picked him up on those charges. Now, Coffee Boat is a very good friend to a musician here in Ghana, Shatta Wale. And why his name is attached to this, I have no idea, because it has nothing to do with him. If his friend was out here scamming and scheming people and got picked up by the FBI, what does that have to do with Shatta Wale? They will find any means and ways to try to bring down a black man. And it's very sad that in 2025, it is still your very own people that will be the first ones to try to tear you down and assassinate your character. What I don't get in this situation is the fact that the U.S. has built its whole entire nation on the backs of black people. They have schemed, they have scammed, they have robbed us. At every level, they could have possibly robbed us. Yet, when you have another black person here returning the favor, it's an issue. Now, all of a sudden, they want to extradite them back to the States to face charges of scamming and scheming. And how many of us want to say that him scamming and scheming these people was not other black people, but Caucasian people? And that's why they are really mad. And that is why they have launched this entire investigation concerning the matter. Is it right? No. But it's also not right that the U.S. has built their entire nation on the backs of black people. Now, Ghana be having a whole lot going on, I will admit. It ain't all bad, though, because Ghana also has some very amazing things happening here in the country. Just recently, the CD has become the best performing currency. Have we spoken about that? In a later video, we will. It's some things that I don't approve of, okay? And I'm very vocal about those things that I am not in support of or in favor of that happen here in Ghana that need to be corrected. But I feel like in this situation, Coffee Boat has done anything wrong but get some of that money back for us that was taken from our ancestors long ago. But aside from all of that drama that has just unfolded concerning Coffee Boat and the whole entire love scheme operation, I think that there is a bigger agenda here. And actually, it's two parts to this, right? So on one hand, the U.S. does not want to see Ghana bringing in any amount of money. And so why is Shatta Wale's name attached to this? Not only because it's his very own people dragging him through the mud like they always do, which is a very sad situation, that in 2025, we still have our very own dragging us down instead of helping to support, uplift, and build us up. Reminds me of way back when slavery began. Slavery was able to start because we was at war with each other and selling each other off to the white man. Because if it wasn't for us doing that, how would they have ever been able to infiltrate? And it's a shame that in this day and age, we are still being subjected to the same atrocities committed against black people by black people. Like, when are we going to wake up and realize that we need to start supporting each other? It's enough of trying to tear down your brother or your sister all out of jealousy, all out of because they're speaking up and being very vocal about things that you don't want them to be vocal about. And why is that? Because so many of us black people just can't accept the fact that we're going to have our differences in opinion, and we're very different human beings. We're just not going to think the same. And outside of that, there are so many people out here in this world that is just upset at the fact that he is making money, that he has made a household name for himself, and that he continues to excel far beyond all of the haters. So the U.S. especially does not want to see a black man making it and not contributing to their society. Oh, they are big mad at the fact that he is making so much money and keeping it right here in Ghana, that he is making so much money and helping to support the economy of Ghana, that he is making so much money and not going to the U.S. to spend that money and be extorted for the money that he's making. So, of course, they're going to try and find means and ways to take him down. And one of those ways that they have been able to find is by getting as close to him as they possibly think they could by arresting his close friend. I feel like it was a direct message to him, like, listen, you keep playing with us and we're going to be trying to find a way to come for you next. But no worries here, because Shadow Ali is an amazing person doing amazing things out here in this world, and the universe is always going to honor that. It's just unfortunate that Kobe Boat was wrapped up in this whole scheme because he just wasn't doing things the right way, which the U.S. never does. But of course, when it comes to a black face and they're looking for a reason, oh, you just gave them their reason they was looking for. But do they want him? I don't think so. I think that they really want the bigger fish, which is Shadow Ali, because they don't like the fact that he is making so much money and it's not being reinvested back into that American society. And it's like they're trying to kill two birds with one stone, because they're also trying everything within their power to give Ghana a bad name. They're trying to paint this image that Ghana is the worst place that you could possibly visit. We just recently seen how they listed Ghana as, what was it, a level 2 on the travel advisory. And why? Because they were saying that the LGBTQ community was being targeted, that they were being harassed and assaulted on the streets, and listed so many other lies, which I covered in a previous video. All in an attempt to paint Ghana as being a country that you don't want to visit. They're trying to make it bad for the tourism in Ghana. So by them publicizing the fact that the FBI came to Ghana and arrested Kobe Bolt in this whole love scheme, what type of message is that sending to the Americans back there who are wanting to travel to Ghana? Immediately, they're going to be thinking, oh, I'm not going to Ghana, because there's men out there that is scheming and scamming and trying to love bomb. Now, don't get me wrong. It does happen here in the country. And I'm a little upset that it happened in this way, because I feel like Ghana is very well aware of the many things that happen here that need to be corrected. And instead of them taking their own initiative to correct the wrongs that are being done in this country, they leave it to the Americans to come in and say, oh, hey, you can't handle your own country, so we had to come in and arrest your citizen because you refused to do something about it. It should never have reached that point. And not only is it making Ghana look bad, but it's making Ghana look as if they can't even control their own country. When things are going wrong here in Ghana, the government has to do a much better job at addressing the issue instead of sweeping it under the rug and acting as if it doesn't exist. They're very famous for turning a blind eye to many things that are wrong in this country. And no country is perfect, okay? Let's look at the United States of America. But at the same time, Ghana is still in the beginning phases of trying to make a name for itself, of trying to be put on the map, of trying to build up, of trying to establish. And how can you be successful at any of those things that you are attempting to do when you have so much going on that you're not willing to correct? And when people like me step up and step forward and are vocal about the things that are happening here, we're told to shut up. We're threatened and everything else under the sun to get us to not discuss these topics. And I keep saying it, and I will continue to say it, that as long as we continue to shut up and do nothing or say nothing about the issues that are happening here, not only will it not be corrected, but it will continue to paint a bad name for Ghana. And I keep saying over and over and over again, there's only going to be but so many times that many people have something negative to say about a country before the world starts to believe it and starts to say, you know what? I'm not going there because I done heard one too many bad stories about that place. I'm not going over there. I'm not going over there to get land scams. I'm not going over there to get scammed out of love. And then it's only a matter of time before they decide we're just not going to that country. We're going to look elsewhere. And that is the main reason why Ghana needs to take the initiative to start correcting the wrongs. Does it have to be perfect? No. But when you have major issues that are very pressing, they need to be handled and they need to be addressed. Not swept under the rug as if it doesn't exist, hoping that it will just go away. Because the more people that visit, the more people that see this craziness that sometimes happens here, the more people are going to run back and spread those words and those messages to other people. And we all know that the fastest way to advertise something is by the spread of the mouth. The word of mouth spreads way faster than any advertising company that you can hire to promote your products. In fact, if you're trying to sell something, you want as many people to speak positive about your company as possible Why? Because word of mouth spreads quick. So the more people start to talk about your products and recommend your products, the more business you have coming in. And it's no different from a country, right? The more people start to go out and speak negative about the things that they have witnessed being here in Ghana and nothing being done about it, the more people are going to start hearing those stories, the more people are going to start to shy away from coming to Ghana altogether. And I've said also in the past that you can tell me to shut up, and I can in fact shut up. But what is that going to do for Ghana in the long run? Because in the long run, it's not going to be me that's going to be hurt and suffering, but it is going to be Ghana and the generations that have to grow up in this economy that are going to be the ones to suffer. It is about time that we start doing things differently, that we start addressing the matters that need to be addressed, and that we're not waiting for the U.S. to come in and be Captain Save-A-Day and have to correct the wrongs that are being done right here in our country while we have our own government right here in our own country that should be addressing these matters. It does not make Ghana look good. So I don't know if right now Ghana's sitting back and feeling like they done did their biggest one by the U.S. coming in and saving the day. But this could have been the worst thing that could have happened to Ghana because it is not painting a good picture about Ghana. So there is a bigger agenda in mind here. When it comes to the federal government stepping in to make this arrest, we need to start protecting our own, and we also need to start correcting the wrongs that are done in our country. It shouldn't take another country to come in and correct our issues. We should be able to do that ourselves. We should have the capacity and the knowledge to do that ourselves. We should look at issues and see, yes, that is an issue and potentially a big issue. So let's take the initiative to correct that issue ourselves. I don't know how much more we're going to have to hear stories just like this one, or how much more a bad image needs to be painted for Ghana to wake up and realize that they need to take back their own power. And when I say that, I'm not talking about a black movement. I'm talking about taking back their own power and managing their own country. And that means the things that are happening here that need to be corrected, that could potentially become a bigger issue, needs to be seen way in advance and handled before it gets to that big point of explosion like we just witnessed. And a part of taking back their own power and managing their own country is by doing away with this treaty that they got with the U.S. to come in and take their citizens and extradite them. There are so many countries that do not have this in place, that are not partnering with the U.S. to have the U.S. come in and touch their citizens. If it's an issue, oh, please believe that that country is going to deal with the issue. But to have another country step in and manage your country makes you look crazy out here in these streets. And I don't know if Ghana is realizing this or not, but if they're not, they need to wake up and realize the bigger picture and a bigger agenda that is happening here in this moment. And at the end of the day, it's all a tactic to continue to keep Africa suppressed, to continue to paint these narratives in the media about Africa. And we know that so much wrong happens in the U.S. But guess what? Eyes aren't on the U.S. right now, but eyes are on Africa. Eyes are on these growing countries in Africa, and people are going to be nitpicking and picking apart these countries. As a developing country, you have to understand that that just comes with the territory, and you have to do things that is going to protect your image, right? It's just like if you have a celebrity that's on a come up, right? You're getting this celebrity together, trying to make them look the best that they possibly could because they're new. They haven't established a name for themselves yet. So you want them to look well polished and rounded as a person to present to the world. Now, what happens if allegations come along and destroy their image before they even have a chance to become who they're supposed to become? That is exactly what is happening in this moment concerning Ghana. It is a developing country on the come up, and they need to do everything within their power to protect their image, and more importantly, their tourism business. So that means getting together with the community, hearing the issues of the community. What is happening? What is taking place? What can we do to correct the wrongs? Getting with people like me who does media, who sees on a day-to-day what is happening. Conversations need to be had. What can you bring to the table? What do you suggest? What do you recommend? All of us coming together for a conversation and a greater good to make Ghana better. But this is something that is not happening for whatever reason. We have to start making change, and we have to start making change right now, like today. That is it for today's video. Drop a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. If you are new here to the channel, let me take this opportunity to say welcome, and please be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. My new ebook, Your Ultimate Guide to Navigating Ghana, is going to be dropping tomorrow, and I am so excited. I will see y'all on the next video.